And we are now live. Guys, hello. Welcome
Hey.
to the John Campea series of videos coming to you from here at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, where we just saw the Warner Brothers presentation. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and I'm joined by Aaron Cummings. We are joined by Chris Carr. We are joined by Ray Ora.
The minority right here, Ray
We
Ora.
got a minority.
Women are a minority.
And also, we should add something to this crew.
I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, missing.
What's going on?
Oh,
There
Yeah.
There's Rob.
Oh,
The show?
he finally woke up.
Rob's here.
What's happening?
We're live.
We're live.
Oh.
You got this.
Is that true?
There was
We're
a
live.
presentation last night, but don't worry, you can
Don't
watch
worry.
it on the internet.
He's been
Yeah.
passed out since 9 this morning, but he's up. He's awake. He's ready to go.
You guys want a drink?
And we are here to talk about the Warner Brothers presentation. Last night, CinemaCon got off to a huge start with Sony doing a dynamite presentation with, I mean, maybe the least anticipated movies, like set of movies. I mean, other than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but I mean, really it was, but they just brought the house down. It was great. The Bullet Train presentation was amazing. Showed us 15 minutes of the film. The Spider-Man presentation was amazing. First 15 minutes of the film. Then they showed us stuff that we didn't even know was coming. And it was just a really good presentation. It was fairly short, too.
Yes.
Warner Brothers presentation was not so good.
It's pretty lackluster.
okay.
Wow,
This-
we're just going right out. Okay.
Wait,
This is where this thing is going to get off the rails
let
right now.
me just say this. They showed some great stuff. And we will talk about some great stuff. They showed 15 minutes total of stuff in a 2-hour and 20-minute presentation with Tweedledum and Tweedledummer from Warner Brothers standing on stage, basically giving a 20-minute ass kissing to the movie theaters and begging, please forgive us for fucking things up in 2021 and bypassing the theatrical exclusive window. Really, we love you. You can tell David Zaslav, because they mentioned David Zaslav a lot. You can tell David Zaslav gave them marching orders. You go to CinemaCon and you kiss their asses, and you beg them for forgiveness, and you remind them that under my rule, we are going to be theatrical first. But anyway, so they kind of did
Well,
that.
at least they came this year, because last year
Yes.
they were the only two that did the entire presentation via video.
Yeah, and it was all, remember it was all that scripted thing?
Oh, yeah.
And it was all like, hey guys, really, it's not so bad that we're kind of screwing you all over. And they didn't even have the balls to show up in person. This year they did, and I'll give them that.
To be fair, they're very, very accomplished, well-regarded.
Oh, and you should point that out. These are guys who have been in this business and who have been working. These are the two guys who are like responsible for working with the movie
Best in
theaters.
the business.
The
And
distribution, the head of distribution for international and domestic.
And you know that if they had their way, 2021 wouldn't have happened the
That's
way
right.
it did. You can tell that. But
Can
these
you
guys-
imagine what they had to say to the people they've been selling movies to for decades? Sorry, we're screwing all of you.
Again, you can just kind of tell that David Zaslav gave them all their marching orders, and it was good to see.
So they did start off with them kissing ass, but I saw that kissing ass as in a way of saying, yeah, we were wrong.
It was a surrender.
Yeah,
They took
it
a
was.
risk that
It was.
that didn't work, and you could tell they were, in a way, his mannerisms, he was embarrassed, and he didn't want to look
Yeah.
at people like he was reading off a little paper on the side.
Well, I mean, so
totally.
was everybody, to be
No,
fair.
but this one was, his head was like the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting for him to look up every time he said something about let's make it all theatrical. He never looked up like any of the times where I thought he would be.
And I'm wrong.
Unprecedented. If I heard the word unprecedented
Oh, yeah,
one more
one
time, I
more
was like,
time.
no, that was the 2021 word. We don't use that in every single speech anymore. We're done with unprecedented. We get it.
But tell me if I'm wrong, because maybe it just felt like it. Did those two guys not go for about 20 minutes?
Oh, it was
They
so
talked
long.
for a
I kept
very
looking
long.
at my watch, and that's why I looked over at you at one point and was like, it's an hour in.
Yeah, like
Why?
Sony never, they brought a lot of people to give little speeches, but no speech went longer than like 3 minutes. These two guys stood on stage for like 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, blah, blah. It's like we're all looking at our watches like, guys, we get it, your
What?
story, but let's get on with
But
it.
there was
But
no
to be
I'm
fair-
no.
There was no I'm
There was
sorry.
no I'm sorry. There was no mea culpa. There was look at how much the Batman brought into you guys. They basically touted their successes without ever eating crow once.
Wait,
So there
wait.
was-
I think Emmerich. I feel like Emmerich did a little bit. In his opening speech, he kind of did a little
He
bit.
did.
He gave a little bit of a nod that, hey, last year, you know. But
a
But
lot
it-
of it was like, baby, I'm different.
Yeah.
Baby, I changed.
I changed,
Baby,
baby.
I
Please
know.
take me back.
Yeah.
And I fell for it. I was like, you
They
know,
did.
mistakes happen.
I had
Just
sex
give me
with
that
her.
footage,
Again?
baby.
I had sex with her. I make love to you.
Who was
I mean,
that?
that's what basically-
Who was the second? When you say Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who's the second person? I don't know. Who
Remember the two guys who were on stage?
I know
The
Emmerich.
international-
Emmerich.
No,
No,
Emmerich was the
Emmerich.
first main guy. Then those two guys came on stage and did their speech for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I
okay.
just would like
Jeff Goldstein and Andrew Cripps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew
In-
Cripps was the taller guy.
I didn't like them very
In
much.
their defense, though, this was
They were pointless.
This was for theater owners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
as
of
we,
course.
as,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
as fans and pundits are waiting to see what they're going to show us, they did have to service the clientele and the people
Yeah.
that did come to this. So.
Yeah.
They absolutely did. They just went on too long.
Yeah, what
Way
they
too
did.
Way too
Like,
long.
how
The
about
Emmerich
5
guy
times
could have
so
done
long?
in like 5 minutes.
Yep. Now, because what Chris was just pointing out was it was supposed to be a 2-hour presentation, which is a good length of time. We got 1 hour and 5 minutes into the presentation, and they had talked about one movie. It's a very exciting movie, Elvis. We're going to talk about what they showed us for
Yeah.
Elvis
But
in a
also,
second.
the very first 15 minutes was all about IMAX. It wasn't even about Warner
Right.
Brothers.
Yeah, IMAX came out, did their presentation, but that's not unusual at CinemaCon.
Right. I know, but I think that it is a little misleading to say the entire hour was just people talking about nothing. I mean, sorry, talking about things but not showing movies. When the first quarter of that was IMAX and their presentation, which was very interesting and showed all the different
I'd say it was
movies.
about 10 minutes, but she's not used to speaking in public. You can
No.
tell that.
No.
But still, the IMAX is doing some really
They're
interesting
doing,
things.
they're doing some exciting things. I think it will make them money for sure.
Yeah, and it'll bring
Are we
people
even
who are
allowed?
not. We can talk about anything we want. It'll bring people who don't generally go to the movie theaters into the movie theaters. Some of the stuff that IMAX do, but people aren't
Called
going to.
IMAX Live.
Yeah, the IMAX stuff. They're going to do some live streaming.
Yeah,
Really
Which
amazing.
I turned to Rob and said, "What's the difference between that and just streaming it live on YouTube and then projecting that on the screen? Why do they need world-changing technology to?"
Well, I think what
bring
the
live
impression
streams.
that I got, because I'm like, well, what's the difference between that and watching a football game at a sports bar? But that's the thing, that there is a big difference between watching a football game in your house on your couch and watching a football game at a big sports bar
And-
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
experience. And
Plus
so
it's
what I
wait.
imagine that this is what it looked to me like is that it's almost as if you are at the concert yourself, except
Yeah.
you're experiencing
Yes.
it on IMAX.
Yeah, with
And-
IMAX screens and real cinema.
And
no,
with
no,
Academy
yeah.
Award nominated
Right.
cinematographers.
Yeah, so that's all pretty cool, but you guys don't really care about what IMAX presented. You care about the Warner Brothers presentation. All right, so Toby Emmerich comes out, actually gives a nice, short, kind of conciliatory little speech. It was actually well done. It was short, whatever. Then the very first thing they did was they talked about the Batman. And of course, that's their big win, right? That is their big win. So they talked a little bit about the Batman. They touted his financial success and all that kind of stuff. And then they brought out Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves came out on stage and they officially announced, worst kept secret in the world, but they officially announced the Batman 2. So
No one knew that was going to happen.
yeah, no, it's a shock hell supreme. But yeah, Matt Reeves announced Batman 2. He said, I'm already working on it. We're pulling everything together. He did confirm that Robert Pattinson is coming back. So all those bullshit rumors those people out there saying, oh, Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson don't get along. Robert Pattinson, that was all bullshit. So he announced that him and Robert are working together on the new film, getting that all together. And that was about 5 minutes talking about the Batman. He obviously didn't have anything to show. That was fine. But I was shocked how much Matt Reeves looks like Fact Checker Jonathan.
Well, it's just a mustache.
Come on!
Yeah, he does look like
Even
him.
the way he talks. He talks like Fact Checker Jonathan.
I appreciated his Natalie dressed
Yeah.
persona. He looked great.
He always
was very
dresses
artistic.
sharp.
I think we had a great hostess.
I wish
tonight.
I could wear
Sorry,
thin
Rob.
suits like that.
We had a great hostess tonight. That
Aisha
Aisha
Tyler.
Tyler.
She's hosted it before for them.
Yeah,
At
She's a
CinemaCon.
fantastic
Yeah,
host.
she's
She
She
is.
knows her stuff. She can pivot really, really well.
And she's
super
one of my
great
favorite
live.
She's great on
voices
the
in
fly.
Archer.
Archer,
Oh yeah, she's fantastic.
I love her in Archer. So they did that, followed by 20 minutes of Tweedledee and Tweedledum, just standing on the stage, droning on and on and on and on. And we're like doing this and like looking at our watches every 5 minutes, like how long are they going to drone on for? Nobody cared. Okay, so then we get past that stuff and we start again. Then they brought up Elvis.
Oh, Baz.
Baz Luhrmann, which for some reason they showed a 5-minute montage of Baz Luhrmann films.
Yeah.
I love Baz Luhrmann films. Why they felt the need they had to show us a 5-minute montage of Baz Luhrmann films, whatever.
Because he's awesome.
He is awesome.
He was great.
I felt like so continue, but I have a lot of opinions
Okay,
on
okay,
this.
go.
Well, I was going to say, like, hey, listen, Moulin Rouge is one of my top 20 all-time favorite films. So I love the guy. But anyway, so they bring out Baz Luhrmann, and he comes out on stage.
Man, he took over.
Oh boy, did he take over! It's like now it's the Baz Luhrmann
It
show.
was too much of
And we were
applause.
here for it.
I was here for it. I
So
wanted
was I.
all of it.
It was a Bazarama.
I have to tell you, I actually, and Chris will attest to this, I started crying because I love Baz Luhrmann. I have been a huge Baz Luhrmann fan for so many years since I remember when I was in college and his video for Wear Sunscreen came out. And for anybody who's like, what's Wear Sunscreen? Keep watching us on YouTube. And the second that this show is over, stay on YouTube and just write in Baz Luhrmann Wear Sunscreen. And it was, it still makes me so emotional because it resonates in such a way that if I listen to it today, I remember being a young woman in her early 20s with her whole life ahead of her and how it changed the way that I was like looking towards my future. And even now I listen to it and I still feel like it changes the way that I look towards the next part of my future. And I've turned on so many young people to it because it's just got so much. Anyway, so I've loved him since then. And every movie that he has directed has been so moving to me. I've felt it just from my soul. And I love how he takes music and just reinvents it in an incredible way and tells a story that has been told 1,000 times, Romeo and Juliet, but tells it in a way that no one could ever imagine.
It's the Blade Runner of Shakespeare movies.
Man.
Yeah. And so what I love about I think the reason why they showed this big montage of Baz Luhrmann is because it's also, you have to know what he as a director is capable of, because we think we know Elvis, but we've never seen Elvis in hands like this. And I think that it's also him saying, you've heard pretty much every song that Elvis has ever recorded, but we're going to spin it on its head. And I loved how he came out on stage. I immediately got so overwhelmed with emotion. I was like, I just want to be your friend. I want to hang out with you. I want to work with you. Like I found him to be so, he just seemed to be everything that.
But it does need to be pointed out that the reason that this live stream is 20 minutes late is because of Baz Luhrmann.
Yes.
I mean, literally, Aisha was on stage like multiple times, tried to reel him in.
So let's see
It's
the
like,
clip.
Yeah, well, come on, let's go to the clip. Yes, but before we do, just the point I'm trying to make.
He's very entertaining to me.
Oh no,
I
he's
love it.
huge charisma,
He's what a
larger than
director
life.
should be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminded me, like, this
He's
is
very-
an old school director.
But you have to admit, though, that the length of that Baz Luhrmann reel did not need to be that long.
Yeah.
No, it did
felt
not need
But
to be.
even he ripped on it.
Yeah,
He goes,
we're
why
like,
does
why
the
is it
stage
there?
play
Thanks
my
for putting-
cinema
yeah,
reel?
Thanks for putting my Chanel commercial in. But it felt like those kinds of things, the montages they kept showing us throughout the night where we have nothing else to show you, so here's this old shit.
Yeah, and
It was really interesting that they showed stuff that did not have anything to do with what the future.
stage play footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Is that real? I don't know this director at all. I'm not into musicals, right? I'm sorry. I am
Have
sorry.
you seen Moulin
Hey,
Rouge?
No.
Australia's
Can I
not a
watch
musical.
Moulin Rouge with you
I'm
for the
sorry,
first
but
time?
He won't like Mulan.
But
He won't like
that's
it.
why
way.
the Sizzle Reel, it gave me insight on what he does. And Elvis, I wasn't interested. The trailer that they dropped, I was like, I think I need to see this.
It was
for
drunk.
some reason,
Well, let's talk about the Elvis trailer.
which was the main point of his. This thing looked
Well, it
so
wasn't a
good.
trailer. They showed us about 10 minutes. I think
It was a
probably like-
trailer.
it was
Yeah.
well. They
It's an
showed us an
extended-
entire extended scene.
Yeah, it was kind of
And
like
then
that.
they showed kind of something that felt like a trailer after that. It was all together, it was about 10 minutes. And he talks about how he goes, look, you're going to hear the classic Elvis songs. You're going to hear them sung by, and of course they brought out
Austin Butler
on stage as well,
Who plays Elvis?
who plays Elvis and does the singing in the movie.
as a young Elvis.
Yeah, it's the younger
Older
Elvis.
Elvis is actually sung by the original Elvis Presley.
So what they did
They
was,
brought him back to do it?
Yeah. Well, he never went away.
Okay.
so they brought out, he talked about the fact that that's all there, but we also use music in a modern context in a way, the same way we did for
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby, because the spirit of Great Gatsby was when they were playing jazz in Great Gatsby, that was supposed to be the younger street music of the time. So if you're going to accurately do Great Gatsby, you got to do the younger street music of today. And so if you want to capture the spirit of it properly. So he talks about how we got the classic Elvis music, yes, but we also put in some other stuff too. And it's really interesting to see how he did that. But then they showed us the scene. He talks about Tom Hanks a lot, which is, what do you call them? Not the Rolls Royce of acting. It was
Yeah, he said the Rolls Royce of
he's the
actors.
Rolls Royce of actors. He talked about, this is the best actor I've ever worked with. So that was great to hear. The stuff they showed us for Elvis was remarkable.
Dude.
Like,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
so. What do you think of it, Rhett?
I as an editor myself, I've always marveled at the editorial in all of his films. The fast cutting, it's different than Michael Bay, because Michael Bay shoots with 8 cameras and his website's cut for the edit. Baz Luhrmann's editorial, as fast as it is very designed. It's very thought out. This Elvis, I mean, I was mesmerized by this footage. And people have talked about how he doesn't look exactly like Elvis.
Who cares?
But here's the thing: he embodies Elvis. And actors, when I'm watching that kid, I'm like, I believe that guy is a young Elvis Presley.
Speaking voice.
He
Yeah.
he has the charisma.
I thought he was
and what-
actually acting up there. That's his real voice right there.
That's
He was,
his
Yeah,
voice.
that's
I-
how he talks. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that he was incredible, and hearing him speak that way, they've captured lightning in a bottle. I think this film is going to be, not only is it going to do well, I think this movie is going to be a favorite for many, many people. Because, like, John, what you brought up, he made it a big point to say how it's Elvis in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s.
Yeah.
And the movie is about the different epochs in his life and what happened. And to me, I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted to hear. From an intellectual standpoint, it gave me something to grasp a hold of and go, this isn't just a biopic. You know, this is a movie that he said was as much about America in the 50s and 60s and 70s as it
As
is
told
about,
through the lens
Yes.
of Elvis.
And-
Yeah,
and
well, I
what
thought
he
that was
meant
interesting.
culturally, and I have to say, hearing all of this, I'm sold, man. Between the imagery and hearing what he said, I have to tell you, I was elated seeing this footage.
Absolutely.
But I didn't even get that it was told through the lens of Elvis. I got that it was told through the lens of Colonel Tom.
Colonel
Yeah.
But when he first
Parker.
said that, he says, we're telling the story of Elvis, but it's really the story of America in the 50s, 60s,
Yeah,
70s through Elvis. But then later you said it's really through the lens of Tom Hanks's character, the
Right.
Colonel.
And he mentioned that Elvis was like the wallpaper of
The
America.
wallpaper of America.
Yeah. But I thought it was the perfect thing to begin with, because it showed you what the theatrical experience is. Because every thump in that trailer,
Thumped.
you felt it.
Yeah.
Dude,
That
Dolby
sound was
Atmos.
incredible. Every boom, and you felt Elvis is just about to wiggle out of his pants. But they didn't give you that. But you had that feeling like it was like a superhero about to,
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
every
he said-
every jiggle of
He
the
said Elvis
Elvis.
was the original
Elvis was the original
superhero.
superhero.
It was awesome. That sound was what sold me to
And
this
to
movie.
see that evolution of how someone goes from being a poor, like, Southern kid just singing gospel music, and all of a sudden his entire the trajectory of his career, and how he made decisions that were illegal, that were groundbreaking, that no one had ever seen
He
before.
was a civil rights leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because he was a fan of gospel film or gospel music, and then he brought what he had learned in the church in the
I can't wait to see that
Baptist
story.
church.
And
His
he also
performance.
performed with black entertainers at a time when most white entertainers not only were forbidden to, but refused
And
to.
they touch on that in the footage they
Yeah.
showed us. But one of the really interesting things that Baz Luhrmann said was, he said, when I first was putting this movie together, I really wanted to do it. He says, I realized I can't do it because I will not be able to find somebody that can be Elvis. And then I found Austin Butler. And you get what he's saying when you watch this footage.
Yeah.
This guy is going to be something
He's-
else.
He's
Yeah,
going to be
he's
a massive
Big star.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna be a big star.
Not-
Thumbs
just
up for
because-
Elvis?
Yeah,
Thumbs up
yeah,
for
big
Elvis?
thumbs up,
Thumbs
thumbs
up.
up
Thumbs
Rossi
up.
for
Did you say
Elvis. This
he's
thing
in
was
the
great.
Oscar talk for Best Actor of next year.
No, that's impossible to say at this point. I got to see the movie. Everybody looks like an Oscar winner in a trailer.
That's true.
So let's actually wait to see him in the movie. But I mean, if he turns out as good as he looks like he could be, it'll be in the discussion. So will Tom Hanks, by the way,
Oh,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
for supporting actor. Okay, so that's Elvis. Big thumbs up from all of us for Elvis.
Good job.
What was next? What's
Dune.
Wonka.
No, yeah, Denis Villeneuve came up. They brought Denis Villeneuve up on screen.
Yeah.
He thanked everybody except Warner Brothers, because he still hasn't really forgiven Warner Brothers, but he thanked the people at IMAX. Who else did he thank? He thanked a couple of people,
Several people.
but he never
More
thanked
people from
Warner.
IMAX.
Yeah, and this person from IMAX never thanked Warner, but still they brought up, and he says he's heavy at work on Dune 2. That's why he's not there. They obviously had nothing to show us for Dune 2. They haven't started shooting yet. So they talked a little bit about that.
Wasn't
Then
there a fireplace behind them? Wasn't he getting served grapes wherever he's at?
yeah, well, you think that's what Warner
He
Brothers
looks
better be
very
doing.
comfortable wherever he was
And
at.
he talks like George St. Pierre.
Yeah, yeah.
Very French Canadian. Good Canadian kid.
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve. All right. So then, well, before we get to the DC stuff, we'll save the DC stuff for later.
Wonka.
Wonka.
Well, Wonka. Okay.
Oh.
I've been the one person that have said, I think this is going to be really interesting. I think this Wonka thing could be really good. And there's been some doubters. I get it. I understand why. They showed us some footage from Wonka.
Dude,
It looks great.
great.
It looks so... Oh, Chris is still not a believer.
You guys?
You guys are...
Come on.
You guys didn't like the
The
Wonka
first part. The first part. I wasn't on board at all. I was like, this doesn't... But towards the end, when they started singing and that music came on and like the heart of the thing came out,
I was almost in
there's a
tears
little tear
when
coming
he
out.
opens the
Dude, I
chocolate
was
package.
right there with you.
I was almost cried. He opens this package and there's a gold wrapper inside this inside the chocolate bar, right? There's a gold. Hold on. There's a gold wrapper inside the chocolate bar.
Hence the idea.
And there's
of
a
the golden
note.
ticket.
Yep, the idea of the origins of the golden ticket. And inside there's this little note. On one side of it just reads, "It's not about the chocolate." And then he turns it over and says, "It's about the people you share it with." And I almost cried.
Dude, I was right there with
in the
you.
theater.
I've seen that inside of plenty of Dove chocolate heart.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
You,
Man.
I thought you
If I could
guys
take
would
this
have
tear
loved it.
back.
It's not about the
Cold as ice,
YouTube
baby.
show. It's about the people you share it with.
Oh.
I will say this. I am a Willy Wonka freak. I was obsessed with the book when I was a kid. In fact,
Yes.
even at my wedding, there were quotes from the movie everywhere. I even had a chocolate fountain at our wedding and the candy bar. Like I wanted to make it a completely Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory themed wedding, but Tom was like, I'm gonna just have to slow that down. But there were a lot of Willy Wonka elements. I am a huge fan of Wonka, the original. And I really wanted to like this. And I think that when I see the movie as a whole, I really do think that I will like it. Timothée Chalamet as a young Gene Wilder is bonkers because
Yeah.
I actually
Nailed it.
believe that
Yep.
he is a young Gene Wilder.
He's got the same smile.
Yes, and the same
Oh,
like
yeah, he
hair.
does. Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got this
Same
um,
energy.
there's the same energy, but I felt like the whole intro to it, like I understand they're establishing this is the world that young Wonka lived in. And it wasn't until they got into him building his factory that I started to be more interested. But it felt, I don't know, I wanted to love it more than I did.
Yeah.
I will go see this movie because I am a Wonka fanatic. But the trailer itself, I don't know. It should have tugged at my heartstrings. I'm the heart that it was made for.
I had
This
tears.
has a great cast of characters. Keegan
Great.
Michael Key, I love
Oh,
him,
yeah.
Oh,
especially
he
when he
starts
has
singing
musical.
that song.
Oh, he's
But-
great.
He's great in this.
The song of like
You've
I've never
had
tasted chocolate like this. I was just like,
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, I didn't like
Sing
that.
the songs, you guys.
We're already singing
remembering
the
the
songs.
songs. Come on, man. That's an indication.
I just
I think it's going to
Maybe it'll win me
be
over at
magical.
some
And
point.
Wow,
they
you ladies
introduced
are
a new
tough.
character.
We are.
Who I believe, like they introduced a new character who's a young girl, and from what I gathered, she becomes like his chef. She becomes the one who helps create the chocolate, and it's her recipes, and she joins with him and,
and
all
then
that kind
just like a man, he puts his name on all the wrappers.
Pretty much.
Well, and the writer of Paddington is behind this, and
The
that
writer-
does
yes,
he's
that
right.
does give me hope.
Yeah.
And they,
But
they did make it clear that this wasn't the trailer they're going to release. They said there was still some rough stuff.
Oh, yeah, there was
and
still
you could
some
tell when
rough
he was
stuff in-
spinning on the pole.
Yeah.
he was not in
Mary
that shot.
Poppins.
Well, because this was like 6 minutes, so we know
Yeah.
it wasn't a trailer. But yeah,
But
it's
I agree with Aaron. It didn't work for me in the beginning. I almost put my hand in and I was like this. And then when the chocolate, what? It's chocolate. I mean, look at me. I love that. When the chocolate started coming out of the cars and the song came in, I was like, wait, this is getting better. You know what I mean?
Ray, what did you have for lunch today?
I had chocolate pancakes, and I still have some. I'm gonna eat that when I get back to the room. But so overall, I guess it won me in the end. Thumbs up for the one.
yeah, thumbs up for me for Charlie and the Chocolate
I'm
Factory.
gonna give it a raise.
We got one or two evens.
We're just
Thumbs
mad.
up from me.
3 thumbs up, 2
Way up.
evens. All right. Okay, so that's Wonka. Now let's move on to Olivia Wilde. who,
First of all,
yeah, there's like 6 people I've sat down with in my life where I've gone,
2, 3, 4.
where I've gone, this individual, male or female, is so ridiculously attractive, it proves that the universe is unfair. Javier Bardem is one of them. Margot Robbie is one of them. Olivia Wilde is one of them.
yeah.
Actually, the first time I met Olivia Wilde, they actually brought us out to Vegas for, what was the, what's that? No, it wasn't. It was before that. It was, why am I freezing the guy's name from The Office?
Steve Carell?
Steve Carell's movie, The Wondrous Burt Wonderstone? No, The Fabulous Burt Wonderstone?
Oh, the
The
magician.
Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
There we go.
Was for The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. And obviously, Olivia Wilde's in that. And I went to a hotel room to go meet with her. And it was just her and me in this hotel room. And I just got to talk to her for like 20 minutes. And I was like, I was overwhelmed. And then I got to meet Jason Sudeikis.
Oh,
By the way, big sad face from me. That
I
they're
know,
not
big
together
party
anymore.
foul.
Anyway, but she comes out. She, of course, directed Booksmart, which was the surprise movie of the past
And it was
8 years to
beautifully
me.
directed.
Yeah.
Beautifully
So well
directed.
done.
So now this is her follow-up called Don't Worry, Darling. And this is not the movie I thought it was going to be. But it might have been not quite for me, but it's in the conversation for the best trailer they played during the presentation.
I think
Oh, for
so.
me, it absolutely was.
Well, tell us
Absolutely.
talk about it a little bit.
Well, I won't say how I saw this, but I saw Olivia Wilde made what's called a Sizzle Reel, where you cut different scenes from different movies together in your own kind of trailer to sell your vision of what you hope the movie will be. A friend of the show sent it to me to look at, and I had no idea what this was, and it was amazing. This was amazing, and I'm like, my God, this went straight to the top of my list of movies I wanted to see. Now, I think we have to talk about Olivia Wilde was so articulate,
Oh, yeah.
so intelligent, so wildly understanding, like Baz Luhrmann. She's a movie director, and you could see
And she's a
from,
communicator.
she's an absolutely. I mean, she commanded that stage.
Yes, she did.
you
Only
listen-
one person today did it better, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, and it was amazing, but not as amazing as the actual footage of the film.
Amazing.
The film
Beautiful.
looks
Stunning.
incredible. It is beautifully directed. The cast is amazing. Florence Pugh is crushing it. I don't know.
Let me pause for a second. Florence Pugh is big right now. She's hot. She's hot right now.
She's not as hot as Hansel.
She's going. Hansel's so hot right now. She is going to be one of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
Real soon.
Yeah.
Like real soon. Sorry, Rob. Please continue.
No, I was just going to say, and Olivia Wilde sang her praises and basically
Yep.
said what you just said. It's clearly her film. I mean, this is clearly some kind of a, call it an odyssey of sorts.
She described it. She gave a description. I wish I remembered what she
Um,
said about it. Something about it looks like something.
Psychological
Yeah.
thriller.
I mean, this
what
is an
they find.
original vision, and she talked about Inception. She talked about The Matrix as being
There was a little bit of
influences.
Stepford Wives in there.
Step-
Well, I
Wives,
got the
I mean-
impression it was very Manhattan Project. You know, the
A little bit of that.
the Manhattan
Yep.
Project.
So the men are going to do something.
And,
but-
and everyone is sequestered into this area where they're all there to live, like in the 1950s when the Manhattan Project was actually happening, and none of the wives knew that their husbands were all actually building the atomic bomb.
But John, you're right about Stepford Wives. Like the men are trying to create these perfect women to serve their needs while they do what they do.
But then it takes a real freaky turn. Like
Yeah.
Stepford
It's
Wives already does, but
freaky.
it takes a real freaky turn.
we got Chris Pine in it.
Oh, Chris
Yeah.
Pine looked great
He
in
seems
this.
to be the main, or whatever you call
Well,
it.
I mean, as we know of all
Yeah.
female-led movies, if Chris Pine is in it, he's really the reason why it's going to be
He's
likable.
the star of the film.
To me, it's the highlight of their presentation because it was
That's
a
great.
original vision, something we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, by the way. If you didn't see yesterday's
Yeah,
show,
that
that
had
was
something to do
a
with yesterday's
shot at
show.
John. Yes, it is definitely Florence Pugh's movie.
The footage is like just creepy and so stylistic and sexy.
Very sexy. Oh, and there's a
Okay.
lot of cunnilingus
Yeah, I'm
happening.
gonna,
Yeah.
you know what's-
I'm very happy about the amount of cunnilingus
They
that I saw
can't
in
show
this.
this on TV. Like this is
No.
not this is not a commercial. You're
At
gonna
the
see
same
on TV.
time, I said they need to show this on TV.
Why can't they show that on TV? They did not show anything in that trailer that we did not see in Gossip Girl ads.
A lot of yodeling in the valley.
We literally saw what we saw in this trailer. We saw on billboards for
It'll
Gossip
be
Girl.
late night trailer.
A woman mid-orgasm.
You basically see it for Equinox ads.
And by the way, even though they were quick cuts, it was really explicit.
Oh yeah.
I was so there for it.
Pretty explicit. I just can't see it. Even
But
if you swap the roles, I can't see that being
No,
advertised.
because here's the thing. What made it explicit was not any nudity.
No, it wasn't explicit. It's just
What was explicit was the reaction on the woman's face.
Yep.
That's what was explicit. So what's explicit is actually what you imagined in your mind. But what they actually showed, nothing explicit about that. It's just a facial expression.
no, but it was so well posed and framed that I don't think they would.
Wait, hang on. John, you know what it was, and what you both said. It was erotic.
Erotic.
And we have missed out for eroticism. I am expecting women directors to bring real eroticism back because our drenched in Pornhub world has forgotten all about. Warner Brothers released Body Heat in the early 80s, and we have lost true eroticism. And this film had it in there in that trailer. I was like, awesome.
Well, but that's the thing. Eroticism seems so much more, oh my God, we can't show that than actual,
because it's sexier.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is absolutely.
So here's the tagline for the poster. I can tell you right now. If if you want to see E.T. here's the thing. If you want to see Harry Styles' face buried between Florence Pugh's legs, this is the movie for you.
And who doesn't want to see that?
A lot of that.
Also, if they took out all that stuff, let's say the stuff that it's controversial.
It's not
It'll still be a good trailer.
It's an incredible
I want people to see this trailer because I'm very confused, but I'm very interested in what's going on. You know what I mean?
Above all else, it is a psychological thriller that is intriguing. It is captivating. It is erotic in moments, so so that's part of it. But that is not the bulk of this. The bulk of it really is
the thriller. It's the
and
psychological
there's
thriller.
action and we don't know what's going on. And Chris Pine is evil.
Can I just want to chime in and say Olivia Wilde in now what looks to be 2 films. This is why I love seeing female directors rise to prominence, because her understanding of this material, the direction in Booksmart was superlative, I thought, and a truly female story. So we're getting a female perspective done in a very new, different, unique, original way. I'm so there for that. That's why I go to the movies, to see stories I haven't seen before told in a different way. And she looks to be one of our most exciting studio directors. And this is only her 2nd film.
So, so as Ray has been prompting us to do,
I'm just saying,
don't worry, darling.
2 thumbs.
2 thumbs.
Yeah, all thumbs up across
So
the
good.
board. All right, let's talk about another one that is We'll save the DC stuff to last. Yeah, we'll do that right now. So before we get into our, I think our final film, before we get into the DC stuff, let's move on. But that's all the DC stuff.
Okay.
Let's hear from the people who make it possible for us to do this coverage here for the John Campea Show at CinemaCon. Our sponsors, we're going to start things off with one of the sponsors we love around here. We use them, we love them, the good folks at Masterclass.
Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass, and as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea. Campea.
And a big thank you to the folks at Masterclass for sponsoring this video. All right, guys. We got one more movie to talk about before we get into the DC stuff. And it's one that has not been on my radar at all. Like, I remember we talked about it when they announced it. It's like, okay, another Stephen King.
This was announced?
Oh, yeah, they announced this a while ago.
I've never heard of this. This was like, what is this?
Yeah, I remember months ago they brought it up. It was announced. We talked. It was Salem's Lot, based on the Stephen King novel, and it's being directed by the guy who wrote, I believe, both the It films.
Chapter 1 and 2.
It Chapter 1 and 2. So he's directing it, and so I was like, okay, yeah, let's just get through this one, whatever. They came out. They had a very awkward stage conversation.
It was great.
Like Aisha was even walking off stage before they even
like,
did.
Forgot, and then was like, oh shit.
Yeah, we need to.
Man.
Was this staged? You guys think it was staged?
No,
Okay.
She like the director comes out and then she walks off stage and he's literally like, "What are we doing?"
Am I
He
doing
literally said out loud, "What are we
Yeah.
doing?"
And then she was like, "Oh, I just thought we were showing the trailer. I guess we're not." Hi.
No, she thought he had like some sort of introduction to the trailer, and she wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but I mean, clearly they worked. So she had a script ready to go, but whatever.
And he's thinking, God, I'm prepping for my reshoots in May.
Yeah, and
Oh wait, I'm not.
They played it off great.
and honestly, I know this sounds terrible, but he looks like the kind of guy whose girlfriend just left him for his hotter next door neighbor.
He looks like every guy I date.
After marriage?
He looks like every guy I
looks
pretty much
like-
ever dated.
Actually does.
Where I'm like, hey, do you have long hair, glasses, and you're lanky and funny? Are you possibly Jewish?
I want to know, how did Stephen King get it written into a
oh
contract?
man, and
where-
I can't grow any more hair, so there's no chance.
Our Chihuahua. How did Stephen King get it to where every single movie that is made based on one of his books has the exact same font? I love it. I'm here for
You're
it.
right.
But
Well,
Because
it's
he
the exact
what he used on his book.
Yeah, that was
Right,
on
I
his book.
know, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like if you're a director and you go, yeah, I think I want to use like brush.
The marketing. Well, remember, directors have no input on the marketing.
And you have to
So that's-
understand, as a Stephen King fan who has a lot of those books, it's on Firestarter, it's on Salem's
Yeah.
Lot.
I agree. I
Gives
think
me a major
I
movement.
appreciate.
But it's brand recognition, right?
I mean,
No,
a
I
font,
appreciate
right?
it as someone with a degree in advertising. I think it's brilliant. I'm just like, I've never seen that before.
And-
but I guess maybe John Grisham has the same thing
Right,
for him.
yeah.
That's
Now, I should say that this font was really the late 70s, 80s Stephen King font. So it would be called the classic King font, and they've abandoned it. And I think it makes me sad.
It
So-
makes me sad too.
So the first part of the trailer, they talked about just the font itself, like why they use it. Right? So it's like 5 minutes of why they use the font.
in a world where
In a
one
world
font.
No.
where Helvetica has burned in the soul.
Well, okay, so then they actually show the trailer.
And this is my winner of the whole presentation.
They show the trailer, and it starts off with your kind of stereotypical and the thump dun dun. It's like you see random images of a town and whatever. This may have been the best trailer, and it was just a trailer, but it might have been the best trailer of the presentation.
This was my
It
pick.
shocked and surprised me. It was creepy and freaky. I mean, when there's a guy in a graveyard burying a thing, just burying it, like it sounds simple,
Oh
right?
my-
Sounds so simple, but a guy's just burying a coffin, and all of a sudden you hear banging in the coffin. The guy's
yeah.
like, it's like, but the way it's framed and the audio, it's so freaky,
Well,
and it
Rob
never
was
takes
sitting
its
right
foot
next
off
to
the
me.
gas.
Rob
Never
was
takes
sitting
its
right
foot off
next
the
to me,
gas.
and I went like this, and the guy behind me started laughing too because I went so far back
Okay.
that I thought I broke my chair. My chair became a recliner, and I was like, oh, and I looked around, and then when that guy started laughing behind me, I said, "There's no way I'm playing this off. I'm just gonna have to go with this the rest of the time."
Now, I have to say that anyone who's seen the TV miniseries that Toby Hooper directed, there is a sequence in that you will never forget. When the kid vampire goes to his friend's window and he's outside the window and he's like,
Project a little bit because your mic's a little bit further.
what? He's
More.
open the window.
More cunnilingus.
So I was wondering,
More tunneling.
are they going to give us a little taste?
The aviation shot of the day.
Wow.
No one knows what we're talking
Hang
about.
on.
Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track.
I'm not joking. This is my job. That was my Donald Sutherland animal. No, I'm trying to make a serious point here. So I was wondering, are they going to touch on that scene? And they do show the young kid vampire not engaging in a little lingus, but it was really good.
The way they did
It
it.
was really good.
I'm
You
not a,
guys have derailed this entire
Yeah.
conversation. It should be a scary conversation.
I'm telling you this. I'm not a horror fan, but I'm going to see this movie. This was my favorite trailer of the whole presentation.
Now,
Bar
I
none.
think I heard the word nope said
was
beside me a
me.
couple times.
Yeah.
I
Like,
yelled,
nope,
nope, and then I grabbed Aaron and went, oh no, oh hell no, I hate everything that's happening.
By the
I
way,
was
how
like,
about that?
I did not know if she was even going to make it through the trailer. I wanted to just cover her eyes. But meanwhile, I'm sitting there going, but why is he burying someone in the middle of the night? That doesn't make any sense. Is he a proper groundskeeper?
It's a busy day.
Well, you got it. Yeah.
I know,
people are
but that's
dying
where
and
like
stuff.
I was hung up on that, and then
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's
well,
a lot of
obviously
fucking
he's
kids in this
thumping
town.
in the coffin because you're fucking burying him in the middle of the night. That's
By
what
the way,
happens.
but there's a final shot in the trailer where a guy's standing in an empty street. The camera,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
It's a classic horror technique where the camera shot is on something, it turns or pans, and then when the camera returns, there's something there that wasn't there before. It's been
Or a lot
done
of
before.
things.
It's been done before,
And we
but
know
it
it's going
works.
to be there.
Oh my
We
God, it
know-
worked.
we're like, just don't look back. Don't look back. Don't look back. And then what do they do?
dope.
They look back, and there's all this shit
It's
there. And you're like,
literally a thing we do in the acting class, right? That I teach of like your brain loves patterns. That's why in comedies, when someone is like, oh god, we all laugh at that because it's a shift in a pattern.
Yeah.
Horror movies, when something wasn't there and then all of a sudden you see two creepy twins or an assload of children, you're like, no, that wasn't there. So it's a really easy like pattern thing that your brain is just pre-wired to be like, no, I hate that. And I just hate it particularly hard.
I have to say too, the writer obviously wrote It 1 and 2. He waxed rhapsodic about what this book meant to him, and about the classic Stephen King. So, I've heard things about the movie. I'm so pulling for it. I want this
me
movie to be
too.
great because listening to him talk about how much, Salem's Lot, The Shining and Salem's Lot are, if you think Stephen King, those books are ground zero. And Salem's Lot, if memory serves, it was Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining were in that order. So this movie, I want this movie to be wonderful.
And then it kind of triggered, I thought, the best joke of the presentation as the lights came back up and Aisha said, well, that's going to scare the it out of you.
Yeah.
And so I was saying, puns, yes, that was clever.
she was really on her pun game tonight. I was
She
impressed.
really was. She's always good.
She's
She's
so
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us now.
But
Wait,
childless.
what's our thumbs?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for Sam's Lot, do even. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Mine's just here.
It may have been the best. It may have been the best thing they showed.
I really liked it.
At this thing.
Don't Worry, Darling was still my favorite.
Yeah,
Same.
same.
Yeah, it's close for me between the two. I think it's because I expected something great from Olivia Wilde. I wasn't expecting anything out of Salem's Lot.
Right.
And so I was like really surprised too. Okay, let's move on now to the DC stuff, shall we?
Oh
Wait, did
my
they show
god.
us DC stuff?
As it turns
remember
out,
seeing any
it,
DC stuff.
it took about an hour and 45 minutes for them to get to it, but yes, they showed us some DC stuff. And I believe the first thing up was Aquaman.
The Flash.
Oh, that's right, the Flash.
And I completely forgot about it.
You want to know why? Do you want
Because
to know
they
why,
just
Ray?
ran on by.
Why did Ray forget about the Flash,
Because
Chris?
it's not a real movie, first of all. Second of all, when they introduced The Flash, right? They're like, directed by Andy Muschietti. We have this story of Barry Allen. Never once did they say the actor's name.
No mention.
once.
We don't talk about it. They didn't mention Ezra.
They
They,
Bruno
they
him.
talked
Shy
about
away from him. They
Michael
didn't hide it.
Keaton. They talked about Michael Keaton. They talked about the director Andy Muschietti.
And that's what we saw.
They never mentioned Ezra's name. But still, they decided to show us some new footage. And listen, I gotta say, what they showed us was pretty damn boner eliciting. I mean, it was
Bonerific. John.
it was great, including our first look at Michael Keaton in the Batman outfit. Because we've all seen that one shot, right? Where Barry, with another version of Barry behind him, and then Supergirl behind him. With that, we've seen this footage already going, are you in? But now they showed us what happens after that. The camera then cuts to Michael Keaton without the cowl, but in the Batman outfit, going, and he says the classic line, "You want to get nuts?" let's get nuts.
And no, wait. They also showed multiple iterations of the Batman suits, like in a Batman.
Well, yeah,
suit
you
closet.
see old man Batman opening up a secret chamber, and there's
Yeah.
like 6 Batman costumes there.
But
and
that wasn't the thing that got me. The thing that got me was the Kryptonian armor from Man of Steel.
Ooh.
There's the shot of the Kryptonian. Now, who was in that Kryptonian?
oh, that was Feora.
Yeah, it looked like it was
Yep.
Feora. I don't know if it was Supergirl. I don't know what was going on. I was like, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel that John and I have undying love for is represented in this movie, and I am so there for it.
Now, look, I don't know if the movie's going to be any good. I don't know, but what they showed us was very exciting.
Yeah.
It looked. I thought it looked really good.
I hate to say it was my favorite DC thing that they showed, just because without taking all the other outside stuff, I feel sorry for this director, because he may have
He's having to
something
deal with a
very-
lot of crap.
He
Yeah,
may
yeah.
have something
But
that
he made $500
he's
million
done.
on it.
But-
I don't feel that bad.
You know.
This trailer, I was so happy afterwards. I don't.
Again, it's all. I mean, really, it all comes. I don't know how we feel about the trailer if it wasn't for that shot of Michael Keaton,
No.
but I still liked it. I mean, I still thought, but that Michael Keaton shot was seeing him in the
entire
Batman outfit again.
audience.
And the camera put
not
it
only-
into him.
Not only that,
So good.
My favorite thing that in this movie is going to be Supergirl. I'm a big fan of Supergirl. Just seeing her shot was.
I love
Yeah.
her costume. I think she looks great. Whatever's going on with the Kryptonians, I am so there for that, and she's one of them.
I feel like it was a very Batman heavy footage situation.
It definitely
I
was
feel
a
like
Batman
it was-
heavy. It started off with Batman too.
It felt very classic Vegas to me. Of it was a magician's act, and it was look over here
And I
because
fell
I've got
for
to
it.
distract you.
Yeah.
I fell for it.
Now they didn't like. I mean, first of all, let's acknowledge it would have been impossible to hide Ezra Miller
Absolutely.
from the Ezra Miller starring the Flash movie.
Yeah.
But it was very Batman. But I have a feeling, with or without the controversy going on around Ezra Miller right now, let's face it, the draw of this movie, the reason people are excited about this movie, is Michael Keaton as Batman.
And
Yeah.
they mentioned it too. This is the first DC movie that's going to introduce the multiverse.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
playing on a
No
little bit.
Ben Affleck though.
No.
No
You
Batman.
gotta say
But of course,
something.
we always knew Ben Affleck is only going to be in a very small part
And
of
by
it.
the way, we did see Batman on the Bat Cycle.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we
Come on,
did.
I mean, that was dope.
that's
as
supposed
fuck.
to be Bale's Batman, right? Or
No.
Are we supposed to assume that's Bale's?
No, Bale's
No?
Batman's not in this.
Okay.
So, but I mean, hey, seeing the Batman on the Bat Cycle was great. Yeah, overall, I mean, they didn't show us a ton,
No.
but what they showed was quite good. I think quite good. So
Apparently they started shooting, so good for them.
I'm sure they're going to shut down production
I mean,
anytime now.
I will say though,
I'd like
when
to hold your hand when we actually see this movie.
I'm gonna rip it
When
off.
I want to walk
they-
you. I just want to walk you through the theater doors.
when Aisha came out and said, and she did a very great introduction,
did.
and she was like, I know we're all excited about the Flash, and it's gonna be great, and we can't wait.
And then crickets.
But like literally, the second that she said the Flash, I could hear everybody around was like,
Just,
"Wait, really? I mean, are
yeah.
they? I mean, like, because Chris and I were like, "Wait, really? What?" I mean, maybe it was
Yes,
just us,
but
but I
that-
actually was watching in the audience, and the audience had a very visceral reaction to, "Oh shit, they're actually gonna like talk about this movie." But and it really goes to show that Warner Brothers, as far as we know, is making the decision that everything's fine.
By the way,
Don't
Everything's
talk
fine.
about Ezra.
By the way, we had a conversation at lunch that I believe you brought up. Explaining.
Wait, no,
Hey,
stop.
no, I didn't.
That's not a
I
conversation.
didn't
No,
have a
stop.
conversation about anything.
Yes,
Oh.
stop.
No.
Just put the brakes on.
Yeah, no conversation.
Yeah, no.
There
Just stop.
there was
Just
no
stop.
conversation.
Just stop. Anyway, so Flash, yes, footage was good. Footage was good. I think thumbs up around the board. We all liked what we saw. Seeing Michael Keaton in the Batman outfit again was fantastic. All right, next up, the one I am most excited about, Shazam.
Oh, dude.
I love Shazam
Shazam.
a lot more than most people. I admit, I like Shazam way more than most people do. I remember the first time I watched that, I walked out of the theater with such a big smile on my face. It was so endearing and heartwarming and fun and charming. I'm sorry, that scene where they end up at the strip club, it's like one of the funniest things I've seen in any comic book movie ever.
Oh, man.
I love this movie to death. So Zach comes out on stage.
No, I was going to ask you about this.
What's that?
We didn't know that was going to happen.
No, we didn't.
No.
Now, how great was that?
Oh, dude, when they started bringing out some of the cast, so Zach was there, he came out, the two kids came out,
Yeah.
and
Freddie and Billy.
yeah. I was expecting maybe one more cast member. I was not expecting Helen Mirren.
Dame Helen
Dude.
Mirren.
Dame Helen Mirren
Did
to come
someone
on
say Dame?
Yeah, somebody.
Dame.
It's gonna be a damn good time. And then Helen Mirren, you just hear her voice off stage. Did somebody say Dame? And Helen Mirren comes out, and it's one of those moments where you want to get out of your seat and just start
Yeah.
doing this.
I was like, no shit. No
That's
shit.
Logan's celebrity crush.
That's my celebrity crush.
So I was just like,
And
your
mine.
girlfriend's here, and he was like, oh my god, go find her.
yeah.
I've said on the
Pretty
show,
interesting marriage.
one of the funniest lines I've ever heard was
Oh,
from
no.
your husband Logan.
I know this story.
And Ann and I go out for those of you who haven't heard it. Is it okay if I share?
Oh yeah, no, this is fine.
So,
he says it all the time.
Me
He's
and
horrible.
Ann and Chris and Logan go out to dinner. I think we were at Disneyland. We
Yeah.
went to dinner, and celebrity crushes came up in the conversation, and the fact that Helen Mirren is Logan's celebrity crush,
He'll never
not
leave me for
ageist.
someone younger.
and I have laughed about this at least 2 or 3 times a year ever since it happened. But Logan, I said, really? Helen Mirren's your celebrity? She's a gorgeous woman. I said, really? Helen Mirren's your celebrity crush? And correct the verbiage if I'm off a little bit, but I believe the line he said was, I would fuck her until her hip dislocates.
And he's like, yeah.
I would fuck her till
I
her
want to
hip.
mess up her hip, and I want her to give me a very confusing bubble bath.
Oh my God.
Whereas I stayed on brand and was like, I think Ben Schwartz is really cute.
I
Wow,
laughed
guys,
myself
you just changed
sick.
the tenor of this conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Talk
is the
about-
direction it's been going.
And the
Not only
chat is like, what the hell?
Yeah, so live chat's in there.
Wow, it's
so
exploding. The
they
live
talk
chat.
a little bit about
Monkey.
Shazam, and then they show us some footage, and I thought the footage looked great. There's a
I didn't.
really.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know I didn't want to reveal this because we would have to, but I have to tell you something. I've mentioned it before.
Please do.
Shazam is like my second favorite DC character, but it's because of the kid Billy.
Right.
His that thing of being a little kid and wanting to be this
Right.
superhero.
Got a big
And lost it in this trailer for me.
Because he grew
He's an
up.
adult. He's like a teen now. He's 18, whatever. I like the little kid that doesn't know what to do with his powers. And it just lost me. I didn't see anything new. I do like the joke at the end. Helen Mirren in it. Her costume looked kind of corny. I don't
Supposed
know.
to be a Greek god.
I don't know who she's supposed to be.
She's the daughter of Apollo.
Yeah.
Of Atlas.
Atlas. Sorry, of Atlas.
I wished I liked it because Shazam is my
Okay.
game. But I didn't like the trailer. I hate to say it. I'm sorry.
Right. The Wonder Woman appearance. Come on, didn't that get you?
That alone.
I laughed
was
at
fun.
that.
So I think the audience was
I was cracking up.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And
That
then
was a
when they
good one.
finally revealed what happened, they revealed what was going on. I don't want to say.
So-
I don't want to say.
That
Don't
is
say. Don't say what it is.
Well,
'cause
well, no. This is going to be public footage. They show this to the public. This isn't.
Oh.
So I mean, so basically, they pull the same gag at the beginning of it that they did at the end of the last Shazam movie, where Superman shows up but you don't see his face. So it starts with Shazam sitting in a fancy
This
restaurant,
part was great though.
and he's talking to a woman. It's like, I just don't know if this can work with us, blah blah blah. And then the woman he's talking to gets up and starts to walk away, and then you realize it's Wonder Woman.
It's so good.
That he's turning down Wonder Woman or something like that. Say, oh, I'm sorry, and all this.
And he
kind of
tries to get her right until she turns around.
Yeah, and
And
then it's the
it's-
Wizard Shazam.
It's
Yeah.
Diamond Hansu.
It's the Jamin Hasu is the Wizard Shazam, but I mean, and it's the same thing as the Superman thing. You never see, you don't see
Yeah.
Gal Gadot's face. Kind of like the same way they did in Peacemaker, where Wonder
right.
Woman shows up but you don't see her. So the gag was great. There's a dragon in this that looks pretty badass. There's a
And
great,
that's such a cute moment too. Dragon.
yeah, and then there's a still promotional image that came out months ago of they're at some kind of outdoor fast food thing where Shazam is sitting with a shake and Helen Mirren's character's there. They show the scene that happens with, which I thought was really funny.
really cute.
Because
Really
he
good.
makes a gag where he says, hey, listen, I've seen every Fast and the Furious movie, and of course Helen Mirren is in the Fast and Furious movie, so I know it's all about family. And that's when the Shazam family's supposed to show up, but they don't show up. It's really a well set up gag. I
Has to
think
be
you're like that.
practiced.
I have to say, John, you and I have gone back and forth. I didn't love
The
Shazam,
first Shazam, yeah.
but I have to say, this look at it, really liked it.
I'm on board with this.
And
think
I
it's
really
great.
like this when the. Can I say this? I'm feeling I can't. Okay, the Shazam family shows up.
Yes, and they look great.
I loved it. It
Yeah.
looked so good, and I put a big smile.
I got to
on my
refill
face.
my drink. You guys keep talking.
I gotta say, I just didn't like the trailer.
That's fair, right?
You know, the villain, if it's Helen Mirren,
She's the villain, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She and Lucy Liu.
I need another trailer. I'm not saying I'm not gonna watch. Of course, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna say that this what they enjoyed. I didn't enjoy. I guess maybe I didn't see enough of the villain, like the threat that they're facing, because
I think they wanted to reveal too much.
this
yeah.
team is overpowered. If you ask me, there's 5 of them with all these
well, it looks
magical
like Helen
powers.
Mirren has
But
a
they're fighting
pantheon of
gods.
characters
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
They're fighting God.
I need to see more, but this trailer, I wanted it to like it a little bit more, but I just didn't.
All right. That's
I
fair
feel
enough.
like you feel the way about this trailer as I felt about the Wonka trailer.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
you wanted to really like it, you were
Oh,
on
yeah.
board with it, but it just didn't.
Is it fair to say that this trailer was destined to disappoint you since Billy's no longer a little kid?
No. That's something I pointed out, but I just wanted to see more. I get the when he's Shazam, but I wanted to see more of the life of Billy. In that, like what we'd see him a little bit. Like that's why
But isn't that
I
didn't they
attached
cover
my-
that ground in the first movie?
But if you're going to a new stage, I mean, all we saw was just 2 jokes. Really, did we see anything else other than
It
that?
wasn't a lot of footage.
From what the
No,
actor
but there was a
said,
lot of
though.
like the villainess. She's
But
established.
from
I mean,
what the 2 boys said, right? The
Right.
2 boys, the 2 young men. Sorry, I don't mean to be
handsome
dismissive.
dudes.
About like how they're both dealing with their duality now,
Yeah.
the duality of their life. I think you're going to see that in the movie,
That's
especially
what
Freddie being like, "I get to do what I want."
Okay, let's point out that they talked about it before the trailer. They're talking
Yes,
about
they
it,
did.
and I guess maybe I expected to see a little bit of that, and when I didn't,
Yeah.
because that's when I was interested. I
That's why
like
you're so passionate about this.
Very much so.
I love Shazam. This is my second favorite DC character on the list.
Who's your favorite?
Should I say it?
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter.
Oh, he's
Really?
a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't
I
care
love-
for Martian Manhunter, but that's interesting. I
John
find that
Jones is
interesting.
a
Alien,
badass.
baby.
Yeah.
Alien.
Of course,
He
probably
lived-
from the
yeah.
moon. He's not from Mars.
He's from
the
Mars.
moon.
Yeah. So I'll wait for I thought they could have done more in this trailer.
All right.
But you know what? I'm glad you guys liked it. And I'm not even gonna give it a thumbs down. I'm just gonna give it a rock, paper, scissors, the paper.
How about a wait and see?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Okay. So thumbs. I mean, for me, it's a big thumbs up
Me-
for
me too.
Shazam.
And-
Got modest. Okay.
I'm into it.
So let's now move on. So that was Flash. That was Shazam.
They broke into Aquaman.
Then they broke into Aquaman.
And I thought it was gonna be Godzilla for a second. Anything Godzilla.
It was interesting.
I
'cause they had
wanted
this-
Godzilla here,
They had this
man.
cascade
Why
of
would
water.
there's no Godzilla movie? Why would there
Are
have
they
been
gonna make another one?
at some point? But I mean,
Yeah, but just give me like, coming, like a title announcement.
Dude, they
We
didn't
could've
have
at
a
least got a
Godzilla
title on
versus
that.
Kong 2 poster.
Every time Godzilla popped up on the reels before the show started, the only person in the room.
yeah.
me.
Like, so every studio, as their presentation starts,
And
they
IMAX,
play a
too.
big montage of basically showing off. Look how great our movie studio is, playing all their past great hits. And Godzilla popped up a couple of times. Every time Godzilla popped up, one voice in the entire 4,000 auditorium.
Godzilla!
It was right where
Oh my
like
God,
going
he's
crazy.
so cute.
So they do Aquaman.
Yes.
It starts off with a predictably shirtless Jason Momoa
In Hawaii.
in-
With all
in-
that golden retriever energy.
Actually, he was in London. You'd think he was in Hawaii because
Looked like Hawaii.
Yeah,
He
but
said Hawaii first, then he said London.
then he said London. Then
he
he
was
said
in a
London.
volume
He
stage.
might be, yeah.
So he just talking about how excited he is for Aquaman, and he's so stoked to show it to everybody, and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And then he introduces on the screen. He introduces James Wan. So James Wan comes out on stage, and it's pretty cool seeing James Wan.
Yeah. I have never seen him before. He's a little miniature.
But he had a lot of energy.
Yeah,
He's so
I didn't know how
He's
petite
amazing.
he was, but yeah, I love all this stuff.
So he comes out, and that was great. Then they actually show the footage, and they show a bunch of footage intercut with the director talking about the stuff. So it was more like a featurette in many ways. But I mean, they show a lot of, obviously a lot of Aquaman. They show a lot of Mera. They show a lot of Orm. His brother plays a big role in
We
this
also
film.
did get the official logo with the correct colors because
Yeah.
we've just been getting texts when people have been putting gradients in it. We actually had the 3D logo with the water coming off of it. We got the real deal. So
Can I just talk about Black Manta's submarine.
This is what I was
Well,
talking
talk about Black Manta in general. Obviously, Black Manta is the villain of this film, but one of the things he is stepped it up. Like
he
whatever
was
you remember.
wasted in the first film.
Yeah, it was very much just there.
I mean,
he was
got
there.
He's possessed by some kind of a being. That was,
Yeah.
but the
Or has some kind
technology.
of weapon. He has some kind of weapon.
But his submarine, he's like the Captain Nemo. That's
Let's-
submarine.
let's
It's like
go.
a star. It's like an Imperial Star Destroyer submarine, and it looks amazing.
Let's make
looks
it clear. This
amazing.
wasn't a real trailer. It was more of like, what would
No,
you
it's
call
like- it
these?
was a 6-minute
preview.
featurette.
It was a
This is a
featurette.
It was a
real-
preacherette.
Because you had the actors and the director talking in between it to explain where they're going with this movie. And I really liked the part where he said, we're going to explore places, other kingdoms, he said.
Yeah.
Other kingdoms, right?
Yeah, the other-
And they show Aquaman, and I believe it's Mira, just zipping through
Oh,
into
yeah,
this
that looked great.
new area. That looks so cool.
And Yaya, can I just talk about the fact he might be one of the coolest looking human beings?
I love this
I mean,
kid.
Yeah.
he just looks cool. He has a face that's like chiseled from granite. I mean,
Yeah.
he has such presence. And
Wow.
with Ambulance and with Watchmen,
down,
and now
man.
now it's Black Panther.
I love him.
I'm telling you,
love
man.
him.
I look at that dude. I want to be that guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
especially.
awesome.
Yeah.
I also love how James Wan was talking about the new technology that they were
Yes.
that they were using for this film. He said that there were parts where it wasn't even necessarily like the motion capture that we've seen or the facial recognition that we've seen in the past. It was it's actually like cameras all over the actor's body, so that they're capturing a 3-dimensional aspect
Yep.
of the filmmaking process. And Jason Momoa said that he's never been a part of a film that has had this type of technology and had this type of storytelling from the technological perspective. And I thought that was really interesting and cool. And the way that James Wan was talking about the technology while we were watching it on film, like watching what he, the specific shots he was discussing, it looks like it's just going to be a really, like he's just continuing to push the boundary of what filmmakers are capable of doing.
I have to say, if it still went up against Avatar 2 because they had the same release date.
That ain't
needed-
happening. That's not
no. But I'm just saying they
No, because
they needed that technology.
in
They were
2023.
actually going to compete with
Yeah,
them.
Aquaman got pushed. So
and
that's not happening.
yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Did they push it more?
They pushed it into 2023.
Didn't they say Christmas now of 2023? Meaning now it's in
Oh, I
that.
can't remember when in 2023.
Because-
I think
I know-
Wonka was Christmas of 23.
Oh,
Yeah, Wonka is Christmas
Oh,
of
okay.
2023.
okay.
I love
December
that you make
15th.
notes.
For
I
what?
always take
They
notes.
did. They did mention a part of the story. I don't know if we should talk about
Well, no,
it.
so
Patrick
they
Wilson?
give us a little bit of what's going on in the film because Manta now has become such a threat. Jason Momoa was talking that Aquaman and Mera now need to go to Orm to help them.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Orm ends up getting imprisoned at the end of the first movie. So they actually need him. So now they got to work together.
It feels like the Black Manta has been gearing up his stuff under the radar, and that's what it felt like, right?
Well, like
and
Rob
like
was
Aquaman
saying,
had no idea.
that submarine felt like a Star Destroyer.
It
But-
did.
but
I mean, it was
Aquaman-
huge on the
It's
inside,
great.
and you had the Imperial officers like
Right,
looking out
but
the triangular
Aquaman didn't
windows.
have a clue about it, right? It seemed like
Well,
that because when
no
he
idea.
pops up behind Orm in that footage, it looks like Aquaman's like sitting on his throne. He's like,
By the way, all this
You know what I
new
mean?
technology, they had all this kind of like retro steampunk Jules Verne technology. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the production design, it looks amazing.
All right, so the Aquaman feature that they showed us and all the different footage and stuff like that, I give it a thumbs up. So I liked what I saw. So it's not, I mean, not the best thing that they showed, but I'm definitely excited for this movie. I had a good time with the first one. This one looks like it's going to pick up on the strengths, and we'll see how that goes. All right, that leaves 2 other films. They left 2 for last: Super Pets and Black Adam. So Aisha goes, unfortunately, because of production delays and COVID and stuff like that, Dwayne Johnson, the star of both these, can't be here, but he sends in this message. So then Dwayne Johnson comes up on the screen, and within the first 2 seconds, he says, "Hey guys, I'm in Hawaii right now," and I'm looking at it, it's like everybody
you're not.
knew that's clearly green screen.
Yeah.
I go, look at the palm trees. They're not
not
moving
moving.
behind
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Palm
Well,
trees in Hawaii.
All you had to
way.
look at is around
The
the
green
edge of them. You
line.
can see the green lines. Like, this is
It was
clearly
a
green
bad
screen.
Zoom background.
And
Really
we,
bad.
the 3 of us, were standing in front of a slot machine waiting to get into the auditorium. And we brought up Dwayne Johnson. I said, I think Dwayne's going to be here.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be here.
I also called it that Austin Butler was going to be there, but I thought he
Yeah.
would sing.
Yes, you did. and he was there to you
us personally.
specifically
He had a
and
microphone
personally.
in his hand. I kept waiting for-
much love.
Yeah.
So Dwayne is doing this shtick about, I wish I could be there with you guys in Las Vegas. Then he just goes, fuck it. And he gets up, walks away from the green screen, and comes walking like 10 feet in front of us.
Really magical.
He comes in somehow wearing a sweater
Ish.
that is still tightly
Mesh.
shows off
It was a mesh.
Because
all the bumps on his
Dude,
body.
if
It
a
was
hot woman
mesh.
was wearing that as lingerie, I would be so aroused.
It was like
It
if
was
someone's
mesh.
Nona made you a polo and then it stretched out.
It's a big
It
stretched out
was
semi-see-through.
It was
I have
amazing.
seen it on many a mannequin on Santa Monica Boulevard between Robertson and La Cienega. It was mesh.
Oh, you.
Oh, well,
I've spent a lot of
Where you
money on La
West
Perla
Hollywood.
lingerie on girls that didn't look half as good as that shirt looked.
You buy a La Perla? That shit's
Like,
expensive.
nice for us.
somehow,
I like some La Perla.
like this
Okay,
this
just
dude,
so
like
you know,
every
I know
bit
what's
that you think how massive and muscular Dwayne The Rock Johnson looks on screen.
Yeah, he is a big
It's
man.
nothing compared to what he is in person. Like,
Yeah.
Biceps are like the size of
Huge.
your head.
and then 6 different bumps on his bicep.
No, every muscle on
his
the back was
muscles
there.
have
apparently.
What
muscles.
did you say? Like, it looks like he has a whole bunch of bee stings.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a whole bunch of bee stings
You know
on him,
what,
with lumps
though?
everywhere.
You know what though? You're drawn to his face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's
It's
so
that
And his
charismatic.
smile.
He's so
Mhm.
charismatic, and that giant smile of his. I'd never seen him in person before. I could not stop looking at his face.
Yeah.
I love
Blue.
people's faces, and he lit up the fucking room,
Yeah.
dude.
He's always
That guy lights up a room.
The
Yeah.
first
the
time
people's champ, baby.
The first time I met Dwayne Johnson was here in Vegas. And I was already in Vegas, and I got a call, and he was in Vegas, and he was going to do an impromptu press thing with a couple of people, and they wanted to show some footage of something. And so they said, come to this hotel at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll meet you in the lobby, and we'll take you up to Dwayne's suite. We're like, all right. So I get there a little bit early, like 8:45. And as I'm waiting in the lobby, the front door of the lobby opens, and in just comes walking Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who had been working out since 5. And so he comes in, big sweaty mess. He's just his spaghetti tank top, whatever, with a towel around his neck.
Do you need this
And we're like-
pillow while you talk about it? I
No.
don't want it to get demonetized.
So, I mean, he was just like, holy shit. But like he's been working out since 5.
I know, sweat, moist everywhere,
Moist.
It's very moist.
moisty.
So he goes up 5 minutes later.
That Rob's done.
I'm
Six
sorry,
or
the
other-
word moist always
6 or
cracks me
7
up.
other people come and show up. The PR guy comes, takes us up to his room, and he goes, guys, and it's just like 6 or 7 online losers, right? And he
Pundits.
comes into his
Pundits,
hotel
John.
suite. Pundits, sorry. That's the other word for losers. So, so Dwayne comes into his suite, and you were just talking, the reason this whole comes, because you mentioned he comes in this room and he owns the room, right?
Right, owns it.
He comes in, so that's in front of 4,000 people.
Radiant.
He comes into this room with like 6 or 7 freaking losers, and he's like, guys, I'm so excited that you're here. And he makes you feel like you're the most important thing in the world. I'm so excited here, guys. I thought it was important that I show a couple of you guys this footage and whatever. And then they show us this stuff. And the guy just, whether it's a small little group of people or 4,000 people, because he walked into that auditorium today and he owned it.
There's
Yeah.
only one actor that could do it. Hugh Jackman is the same thing. When I met him,
Not on that
he's
level.
not sales.
Yeah,
he's pretty amazing.
He's
such a nice
great.
guy.
He's fantastic.
I mean,
guy.
just an example, obviously people were, yelling and screaming, and it was, and at one point, somebody from the audience goes, "Yeah!" and he stops the whole thing, and he goes, "Whoa, wait, who did that? Who said this?"
The alcohol is flowing in Vegas,
Right.
he said.
And so there was a bunch of people that were like pointing at the guy, and the guy stands up and he goes, "What's your name? Where are you from?" And the guy says, "I'm from Texas." And
Right.
and Chris goes, "Yeah, that tracks. That tracks."
That's
Very
our people.
personable.
Those are our people. And he goes, "Well, I meant what company is he from?
Yeah.
But I guess where are you from?" But that's the thing is like when you take the time, and we were talking about this at lunch today, is like taking the time to actually like call someone by their name. And I think his name was like Brian. He was like, "Well, hey,
Patrick.
Brian."
It was Patrick.
Okay, well,
I
whatever.
memorized the whole thing. The the way he communicates to anybody.
I had to pee, so I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention at all.
By the way,
Yeah.
He was like, hey, Patrick, thank you so much. And, he really made a point to single that person out. And there's something about him doing that with one person. Even though there was 4,000 of us in the audience, it kind of made you feel like, oh, wow.
I wish
he's
that was
talking
me.
to me.
Yeah,
Not even I
Yeah.
not even I wish that was me, but like it feels like he's talking to me because he's taking the time to just acknowledge somebody that's in the audience, just for fun. And it sort of just made it
Do you
so much
know-
more conversational.
Here's what I loved about this. Obviously, he gets paid to promote his films. He came in. He didn't even go up on stage. He walked in from the side, and
From
he
the
was
people,
He
baby.
was high fiving, and there was a girl. I don't know who she was. She was like had green hair or whatever, and she puts her fist out, fist bump, and he fist bumps her, and she says fist bump. It was on the camera, and I was like, this guy understands that part of his persona is to be that guy to other people, and he makes everyone feel like a millionaire.
He was a
All right,
professional wrestler.
so
though,
enough
too.
about his entrance.
Okay.
The
Sorry.
movie, because you
Yeah.
guys have to see a movie.
So
pretty great.
he was there to talk about selling these two movies. And so obviously the two movies he's selling, and by the way, he also used this a lot to really pump and promote $7 Productions.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
if I had
yeah.
a shot for every time he said $7 Productions, we'd all have alcohol
We
poisoning.
Apparently,
Dead.
they all made everything in Hollywood.
Yes, they do everything in Hollywood.
All
$7
the
Productions.
visual effects and the animation.
$7 Productions. $7 Productions. But at any rate, so the first movie he talks about is the shitty looking thing called Super Pets. So
Okay,
they
I
showed
mean,
another shitty trailer for Super
I
Pets.
will leave this
Why
set.
does he choose violence every
talking
day
about-
around us?
Super
It's-
Pets.
It's not
wrong
good,
with
man.
you?
It's not good.
It's not good.
This does not look good at all. Though I will say the Batman gag is funny.
Yeah.
When Keanu Reeves' Batman goes, that better be a licensed toy or I'm going to freak out. That's
love it.
that's funny
I
line.
No funny,
Cute.
witty
I
jokes.
think
But I
it's
never
cute.
laughed once in the
I
You're not going to laugh at
Yeah.
this.
I will say this. So Secret Life of Pets is one of my all-time favorite movies. I will.
You're out of your mind, first of all.
Sorry.
I'm saying.
I like Secret Life. I like Secret Life
Yeah,
of
I
Pets.
do too.
Secret Life.
Okay,
Excuse me.
whatever you like is fine.
Secret Life of Pets 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Sorry. I should clarify
That was the
that.
second one?
That-
Look at how your
yeah,
hair
yes.
gets more like. Look at
Okay,
that.
okay, okay.
So
By the way,
I
it
was
just got turned on.
obviously
Wow, I've never been assaulted by a woman before on live. YouTube streams.
assault, cancel me.
No,
So-
don't, because I.
Just,
Okay,
just
okay, okay.
Anyway,
continue.
Secret Life of Pets 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I really, really, really wanted to like this because I was hoping that it was going to be Superman's pet and Wonder Woman's
it
pet
is.
and Batman's pet. No, it's not.
no, it's Batman's dog and
Superman's dog.
It's
but then all the rest
Superman-
of them aren't.
No, it's
Yeah.
Superman's.
sheltered.
It's Superman's dog, and then all of a sudden, something I don't even know what animal that is comes in
It's like a naked mole rat.
with like a piece of Krypton, and then all of a sudden,
Kryptonite.
sorry, Krypton.
I mean, technically,
Well,
she's right.
kryptonite is a piece of
Yeah.
Krypton, yeah.
yeah,
You're right,
so
that's-
it's a piece of the planet Krypton.
You nailed
I
it.
know my dork material, John.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem. I'm here for you.
World.
Anyway, I thought it was going to be all the pets of all the superheroes.
Well, that's
So
what
that-
they made it sound like. Too.
Yeah, they made it sound like that, and I was
So-
kind of bummed that it wasn't more superhero pets. That it's just like these animals that have
Random animals.
random animals that have
They're
superpowers.
shelter pets. So
Yeah,
don't,
and-
don't you think they'll get adopted?
I'm worried about the
If
turtle.
Wonder Woman doesn't show up and claim a cat, I am
Wonder
gonna
Woman
freak
doesn't
out.
adopt that pig.
to
I will
be
freak
fair-
What about
out.
the turtle, you guys?
To be fair,
Yeah, right.
It's gonna go to Barry.
there was only two really super pets, and that's Crypto and Ace.
Yeah, that's it.
That and so they threw together another
Rando
group.
team.
Yeah, Rando team.
But
I'm
was
okay with it.
Was Ace always Batman's?
Well, he's like when Batman has a dog. It's
Yeah.
Ace.
Yeah,
I didn't really get that. in
those were the two
trailer.
that I knew before I even heard of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I knew Super Pets was Ace. I didn't know if Wonder Woman had anything, so I wasn't looking for that. But
I
I
thought he
like
had
the
a
two dogs.
bird. I always saw Wonder
An
Woman with a
eagle
bird.
or something.
Or a cat. A bird or a cat. Anyway, something you
Anyways,
How
they,
bizarre.
it seems like they didn't like him. The trailer, I did.
I liked
But
it.
it wasn't. You know what? It wasn't clever. I wanted it to be clever.
Okay, so what do we think? Super pets?
I'll see it.
You guys are. I'm just saying they're too critical on this kids movie. Is that all I'm saying?
Whoa, animation is not just for kids.
I meant, well, this one is very kiddie.
This is very geared towards young people.
I will say
Yeah.
this. I
Little
mean,
babies.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gives it his all.
Always
His
does.
vocal style.
Always
I mean,
does.
he is giving it his all.
And he
but
is so
Moana,
respectful
this
of
is
voice
not.
acting.
I will say this. I
Moana,
understand
this
why
is
you guys
not.
don't like it.
It's a cute movie to
I'm
put
very
on for
understanding
the
why you don't like
kids
it, yeah.
to keep
Yes,
them occupied. So then after Secret Life of Pets, after Super Pets, after Super
Wait,
Pets,
Secret Life of Pets 2, dear. Two,
after
that's your favorite.
Super Pets comes,
Then comes Black Adam.
The
And
Grail, the whole show, right?
yeah, this was clearly what they were building up for the whole show. Of course, they repeated 3 different people repeated the line from the stage. The balance of power in the DC universe is about to shift. Is that what it is?
Oh,
Yes.
It's about to change. Whatever.
Yeah.
The balance of
I
power.
buy
That's
it.
so Dwayne said it. Aisha said it.
I'm
I
all
think
in,
one of the WB guys said it.
I'm trying
So-
so hard to not make a jacking off gesture about that line.
Wait, what?
about what line?
The balance of power. Every time I heard it, I was just like, sure,
Oh,
if you say so. But I don't want to. I
But
don't want to get
that's-
demonetized.
But that is the line they've been using since they announced Dwayne Johnson
I'll
as
show you later.
Black Lightning 6 years ago. They've like I remember when Dwayne Johnson came out like 6 years ago at CinemaCon, or 7 years ago now. They used that same line. The balance of power is about to shift. Okay, so whatever. So we already saw the first teaser, and the first teaser came out, and it was they showed some really cool stuff. Here, they got a little bit more into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the stuff they showed, I thought was quite good. And one of the highlights for me of the footage they showed was this confrontation between Hawkman and Black Adam, where Hawkman basically says, "Heroes don't kill people," and Black Adam goes, "Well, I do."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that pretty much tells you almost everything you need to know. I am dying to see Pierce Brosnan in this movie.
He looks so good.
Yes.
Yeah,
he
he
looked
does.
so good in this.
Kent Nelson.
So, I mean, I liked what they showed quite a bit. I thought the costume looked great. By the way, superhero costume that required no artificial padding in
Yep.
it. It's all him.
The Rock let it known. Everyone probably already knew this already, but he made it a point to also say they're introducing the JSA in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be a big part of it. So I bet everyone in the chat already knew that. But also, the would-be almost He-Man, Noah Centineo? Centineo?
Yeah.
He was introduced. He came out, which his character, Atom Smasher, looks great.
Great.
Yeah.
And by the way, very charismatic guy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really,
Very
He was
good.
really
great.
enjoyed his presence. He was bringing them, bringing the entertainment
This is a
value.
fun shift for him too, because he's been doing all the Netflix rom-coms. So
Right.
Yeah.
this is gonna be really cool.
I still can't believe that they were going to make that kid He-Man at one point, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, now I want it because I could see a young Prince Adam.
I can see Prince Adam. Yeah, I can
I-
totally see Prince
He
Adam.
has
then
a
you-
great face.
He
really
does.
does have a. He has a
Good-looking
really great
kid,
face.
lots of charisma.
They brought out the other girl who's supposed to be playing Cyclone.
Yeah.
She came out too. They were both really cute. They were the girl would seem very out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, but
a little
she
bit.
did. She
But
played
with
herself
Hollywood,
admirably.
she's gonna be in the spotlight sometime, you know. But yeah, I liked what we saw of Adam Smasher. My highlight of the trailer, I think.
My criticism of the trailer was I did feel it was a little unfocused.
Again, project a little bit more.
It was unfocused. I didn't understand what I was seeing. Why is the Justice Society? Is it a period piece?
Well, they're not ready to tell us that yet.
I know, but it seemed I have questions.
Yeah.
I want to know, and where does this all come from? And I felt it was a little, maybe it's disjointed because they can't tell us, but I want to know. I have questions.
All right.
He looks great though.
Right.
He looks
looked
great. And by the way,
wonderful.
the costume when he has like the tattered robe around
Yeah,
him, like a
that looks
cape,
really good.
That was badass.
Like that shroud.
And, oh
and-
my
yeah.
god! And his costume is amazing.
He
Yeah.
he has now become Black Adam to me, just with a trailer. This. I'm sorry, whoever created Black Adam, but The Rock is now Black Adam.
Well,
movie.
Alex,
he
he
fits
looks
it
like
so
he's
well.
an Alex Ross painting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Alex Ross basically painted the Rock.
That
And-
was
and
so
they-
well said.
And,
yes.
and
I
they
mean,
introduced this as the
it's
official
dope.
trailer,
Yeah.
right? So
No.
people are gonna
I
actually
don't.
see
I don't
what
think
we
they.
saw.
I don't
No.
think. Did he call? I don't
Yeah,
think
they-
they said this is the official.
Oh,
trailer.
okay.
I mean,
I
the
hope
part of the
people
show.
see it.
One of the other cool moments of it, though, is that I think it was one of the heroes. I don't know who, but takes like one of those metal batons that like Black Widow will use and smashes Black Adam over the head with it, and it just all it does is just dent the thing, and then its hard smash cuts to the middle of the ocean, and that guy that hit Black Adam is now flying out of the sky, landing in the ocean.
Well, and
It's like, there you
Hawkman
go.
gets in his face. Maybe it was Hawkman. Like,
No,
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
no.
Hawkman.
It
was like a
You
regular
saw the
soldier
guy
or
that
something.
did. Yeah,
Oh,
you saw the
give
guy
me
that
One
did.
of
business.
those things you can buy on Amazon, but they're illegal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
So, yeah, I liked what we saw. I mean, I was kind of hoping it would be the show stealer. I was kind of hoping Black Adam would be the show stealer. But I think overall, my favorite things that I saw was Michael Keaton as Batman
Yeah, that was dope.
saying, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Don't worry, darling. And
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot.
Can we mention that the Michael Keaton part in The Flash actually had the most audible
Response.
response from the audience?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it did.
Throughout all these trailers, mainly everyone, you'd hear a couple claps. That one uniformly.
Michael Keaton, as Batman, the whole place
And
went.
especially saying that line.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was familiar.
Yeah.
All you have to do
There's
is
a hint
read
of nostalgia about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
All right, guys, listen. I know a bunch of you guys sent in questions via Super Chat and all that kind of stuff, but unfortunately, because the presentation went like 20-something minutes overtime and we started late, and we now have to get down to a screening of Ethan Hawke's new movie, The Black Phone, and we have to leave right now, unfortunately. So, Rob will answer all the super chats that you guys sent in probably sometime tomorrow. He'll make a video to answer
Yep.
all those. I apologize that we don't have blame Warner Brothers, blame Baz Luhrmann. Even though I love Baz Luhrmann,
Yeah, he was amazing.
love Baz Luhrmann, but he really did kind of hijack the whole show. Blame him, but we do have to take
Blame
off right now.
Canada, John.
So blame Canada. So anyway, guys, that will do it for our coverage right now of the Warner Brothers panel. We still have a very exciting Paramount. We have Universal,
Disney tomorrow
John.
morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Disney's presentation,
Bright
which
early.
I've been told there's a lot of good stuff they're going to be showing us.
People
So,
are asking about Barbie. They showed a still image
Oh,
of Barbie.
still image.
Oh my god, I was not excited about this movie at all. I'm
Until
like, I
this
will
still
never.
image.
That still image of Margot Robbie as Barbie
Yeah.
is
It's
dope.
real cute.
AF.
Pretty great.
I was like, oh,
She's
watch
in her
this.
Barbie Dreammobile.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's a Barbie
god,
exhibit that's happening here right now.
Oh,
actually.
we're going.
We should.
that looked
Like,
great.
it was perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
she looked
Is it really?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love
Do you
seeing
wanna
old white
Mm-hmm.
people calling out, going, "This Barbie movie looks amazing."
My sister played with Barbies. I'm
I
interested.
love Barbie.
Okay, but for now, we need to shut this down. Guys, more coverage coming tomorrow. Still lots to do here at CinemaCon 2022. Thank you guys, all of you, for joining us this evening as we're talking about this. Again, our apologies for not getting to the super chats, but it wasn't our doing. The schedule got away on us, and now we got to get down to this other thing. But it will follow tomorrow. So follow us more tomorrow. That'll do it for us for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, until I can get to the end stream button. Oh, there we go. Until next time, bye-bye.